the vegetation and different. It's the same way if you eat fresh food from your own garden, you're gonna be healthier than anything you get out the grocery store.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I see. David said, can we still send donations? Yeah. Next week. Not right now. I'm getting packaging and everything together right now. So that first batch, they was lucky. They got that first batch out, but not right now. But next week I will give because I'm gonna use PayPal instead of Cash App. I'm gonna use PayPal instead of Cash App. So I have everything set up by next week. But family, this is absolutely. And I'm Rod. I'm gonna talk to you. I gotta send you one of these joints. And I seen Q. Shout out to Q Reeves in the audience. I gotta call you back, brother. You sent me the text. I gotta call you back about that and chop it up with you. Got to make a few tweaks, but we gonna definitely get a live going in before the month is over. But yeah, by next week I'll be popping David, and I'll let everybody know. Shout out to everybody. Somebody asked about it, shipping tobacco. Yeah, it's good. It's legal. I checked into all the legalities. It's legal. That's why I'm accepting it as donations, and I'm not, you can't send loose tobacco. I'm sending a cigar. You can send a cigar as a gift. People do it all the time. People do it for weddings, if they get married, if they have certain ceremonies. But as far as loose tobacco, they don't want you to mail loose tobacco in the mail. I'm not mailing loose tobacco. I'm just mailing a gift, a cigar gift. So that's perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. Just to let y'all know, perfectly legal to mail a loose cigar. But let's get to a couple of questions. Somebody said I could get it sent to. Yeah, you can get it sent to Toronto. You just got to pay the shipping. But like I said, next week I'll have all the information for y'all. I'm gonna set it up on PayPal. So whoever set it up, they was lucky. They got the first. Red Pill's actually coming over this weekend, Rod. Red Pill coming to my spot this weekend, and we're gonna get it in. We're gonna be tobacco chiefs this weekend. So shout out to Red Pill coming over this weekend, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time, man. But it's Rod, everybody who, before we get into these questions, we're talking about altered states of consciousness, Rod, and we're talking about creating a change in the world. Everybody who it seems who creates change in this world, Rod, they not sober, Rod. I'm just being honest. It's like I was honest earlier, Rod. You talking about what are you talking about? What's that called in San Francisco? Something Valley. What is called, family? Them people them computer dudes out in San Francisco. What they call?
Oh, Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley. They microdose all day. They microdosing all day. If you talk to some of the rappers, they're like, yo, I took ecstasy. I took this. I took that. That's what helped me tap in. You talk to the shamans, they're always taking something, Rod, before a ceremony. It could be a liquid. It could be tobacco. It could be somebody's always taking something. And then when it gets to the average person, they're like, nigga, don't take shit. And then the average person don't make no breakthrough. They're just always reading and studying. But the people who make the breakthroughs, Rod, is doing something. So talk to me about all these things that people are taking to make breakthroughs and change. Silicon Valley, the microdosing, and then the average person just think, I'm just going to meditate. And it seems as though the people who taking these things are experiencing more success, Rod. Let's just have a conversation real quick about that, my brother.
Well, I'm finna show you. This is a book.
Yeah.
See this book right here?
Hold up, Rod. Hold up.
Hold on. It's called Breaking Open the Head.
Okay.
And it's called Breaking Open the Head, a psychedelic journey into the heart of contemporary shamanism.
Uh-huh.
We've been using aids. They call them, it's like assist tools, right? Because we become trained to be so rigid in our consciousness that anything psychic-like becomes blocked out.
Mm.
But when we relax that rigid stance, this is what substance help you do.
Mm-hmm.
Relax that rigid stance opens the gateway of higher frequencies to come in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, like, for instance, the psilocybins give you a different access than, say, marijuana. And this is just changing your lockdown frequency to a liberating frequency. Everybody don't need, like, for instance, Elijah Muhammad wasn't into substance. Malcolm wasn't into substance.
Right.
But before he became awake, he indulged in it as recreation. When your intentions matter. When you use, whether it's marijuana, peyote, whether it's tobacco, your intentions matter. If you're using it with the intention of accessing higher states or altered states, you can use it. But if you don't know, if you just having fun, then your psychic effects become bad trips. Right. And there's a lot of study that's been done. That's why I made the reference to that book. There's a lot of study that's been done because shamans have been using the substances of the earth from the beginning. That's not new. But the plants have a life. And in their lifetime, they collect information. Releasing the information, you can absorb the information depending on how you utilize the substance. Right. They got one of the most potent detox substances known to man is banned in America. It's called African LSD, aka Ibogaine. For people that are severely addicted to narcotics, it's the only substance that one use can cure a crackhead that's been a crackhead for 20 years.
Damn.
And it also it re-improves the brain structure because it goes back to what purpose did it have in the beginning. If you go back to Genesis, they didn't get kicked out because they started discussing philosophy. They got kicked out because they ate from a tree called knowledge. Right? But that still ain't the real reason they got kicked out. They got kicked out because they didn't want them to eat from another tree with all this knowledge called a tree of eternal life and be like one of them, the gods. These are plants. The tree of eternal life is a plant. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil is a plant. Right? It tells you to use the herb for that which it is good. That means for its intended purpose. The intended purpose of all of the tobacco types is generally to waken you up a little bit more on a day-to-day basis. You're not supposed to be addicted to nothing. Right? This is your vice lord. You're supposed to govern your vice. You don't let your vice govern you. Right? So once you become a vice lord, now you in Big Mama house, black and gold is your colors. Right? But you got to come either from the blue house or the red house. Right? Then you got to get flipped back and forth between the two to determine your character. Right? So all of these tools, it's just like a mechanic got a whole box of tools. Shaman's got a whole bag of herbs. They're not all the same. Sometimes I smoke roses with my herbs. Sometimes I smoke lavender.
Right.
Sometimes I put goldenrod in there. They all got different purposes. And they all do different stuff. Right? So you would know when I start smoking roses in the blunt because I can't help it. It just come out and I'll be like, I'm smoking buds and roses. That's what I'm smoking.
Oh
I
man.
can't help it. I can't help it
Yeah.
because the rose and the weed together, that's the effect that it have on me. It's
Yeah.
almost like a comical recognition that I'm smoking marijuana and roses, right? But if I smoke marijuana mixed with lavender, oh, it's gonna be a good sleep night tonight, right?
Lavender.
But right, so the different herbs do different stuff. We didn't just all smoke straight marijuana, right, or straight tobacco. We used to all smoke all kind of herbs, right? They all got a different. The purpose of burning it is to release the energy that's trapped inside of the leaf, right? Once the energy is released, you can absorb it and you can utilize it, access the mind of the plant.
Right.
Like I told you about when I took the mushroom trip and I had the magnificent light show and my man come in talking about I'm psilocybin, the spirit of the mushroom, right?
Yeah.
So and I was like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm tripping because I'm blinking like you can't really be the spirit of the mushroom.
Yeah.
And then he showed me all of this stuff about mushrooms I didn't know. And then I was sitting there skeptical as can be. And then it started coming across my feed, everything he told me. From the elk in the mushroom to the proboscis monkey in the mushroom to the psilocybins that lights up the dark cave as fluorescence, right? And I was like, damn, I didn't know none of that stuff before psilocybin told me. And then he like, and then he asked me, he's like, you know why I like the name psilocybin? I was like, no. He said, because it sounds like silly ass Cyrus. I'm like, I'm over here dying laughing, Rich, because he's giving me all of this stuff. But when I start really knowing that it was some real spill, is when my regular feed started showing me everything he told me on the trip. Right?
Man.
That means that whatever the psilocybin, because he said you can access the information of the psilocybin network. It's the same as the neural network if you have the love for the mushroom, the psilocybin. And one of my favorite things on my pizza is mushrooms. Always have been. I can eat a mushroom pizza with nothing but mushroom, cheese, and sauce. Right? So I always liked it mushrooms. I got this strong, like I can make a whole portobello mushroom steak sandwich with no meat, just with the lettuce, tomatoes, and the slice of cheese, and put some, mayonnaise on it, mustard, and give it the business. So it's already in me to like mushrooms. I already got a predisposition and a strong affection toward the mushroom. I just didn't know that the mushroom had this mind connection network that I could access by loving mushrooms until I went on had that trip.
Hey,
I don't
Rod.
like I don't like mushroom trips because I get cold. I don't like being cold.
Rod, I always hear when we talk about Kevin, I always hear about the Blue Lotus. So I'm glad this person asked this question. Shout out to the Sirius B113. Rod, what do you know about smoking or drinking Blue Lotus? What you ever did that, Rod?
I haven't in this lifetime, but the Blue Lotus is the sister of the Blue Lotus House, is what they used to call them. And it's an oracle sisterhood, a priestess that would drink the tea on a regular basis, and they would use it in all kind of confectionery and stuff. And they reverence the Blue Lotus, so it's got a strong connection in ancient Kemet among the sisters.
Oh, fire. All right. Let's get to another. Oh, you know what? Before I continue, because somebody had asked me, let's put the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. Hold up on the screen. I know a lot of y'all know it by now. Make sure your support. Somebody had asked about supporting the brother. Let me see. Listen, all right, so family, so we've been live for about almost 2 hours, and this brother right here, man, we got over 4,000 people in the chat. We got over 4. That's a lot of people to have on a Tuesday night at 11 o'clock talking about spirituality. There's not many. Think about it. We live in a whole globe, billions, all these people. There's not many places where there's a group of 4,000 people gathered virtually to talk about spiritual topics. We are one of them. We are one of the rare groups all over the world, 4,000 deep, talking about spiritual topics. Support the man who's responsible. What this is my platform, but the brother Rod, he brings a certain energy to his show. So shout out to Rod. Make sure you support him. Show love to him on his Cash App. You can support him via Cash App, $, capital SIK, capital APE, SikApe. Show the brother love, man. This is rare. This don't take this for granted, family. This you ain't gonna see. There's a whole world full of people, and you won't see this on a Tuesday night. Over 4,000 people gathered. Show love for one of the brothers who's here tonight and doing what he does, man. All right. Rod, real quick, somebody wants to know, can you break down monatomic gold, Rod? What's the deal with the monatomic gold? I'll be seeing Billy and Blue Pill talk about that shit. What's the deal with the monatomic gold, Rod?
It helps the body operate at its highest capable efficiency levels. The monatomic gold, if you get it in its pure state, you won't even need food. You'll just need a sip of water, and you'll be able to literally activate your macabre and fly up out of here wherever you at.
Damn.
But you also have other monoatomic elements other than gold, like platinum, monoatomic silver, iridium, and the collective of them is just called ormus. Orbit, or it means orbitally rearranged molecular substance or something like that. But the priests of old used to use it to access the highest possible states of consciousness, and they used it to map the mind. But in modern times, we just now becoming reacquainted with it in probably the last 25 or 30 years, and some people it's even been less than that. You know, and because when it's in its monoatomic state, which is the single molecule state, it looks like what's that stuff called? Silica. It looks like silica under the microscope, right? But it has so many properties. It eliminates the entropy of the combustion in the cellular processing of energy, right? So it's like a balancing chemistry. The chemistry is to balance the where you burning so efficient that you have no entropy. And if you take away the entropy, you won't age no more. You take away the entropy, you won't have mental decline, physical decline. All that stuff goes away. And a lot of people believe that the monoatomic gold is the fountain of youth.
Rod,
or the philosopher's stone.
Rod, next question. Could you talk about burning ancestor money? What's your thoughts on that, brother?
That's a more like a tribal specialty, right? Where you can designate a dollar note as ancestral money to access the wealth that the ancestral line has, but that's not my area.
All right, next question. Rod, what does it mean to dream of free falling? However, not knowing what direction one is moving, not knowing if you're falling up, down, right, or left.
I never heard of nobody falling up.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. So look, when you're in the free fall state, you got to be sure you falling and not rising. right? I put a post up a couple days ago on my Facebook. It say, be prepared to dive to the deepest depths if you want to rise to the highest heights. The training is the same. The same breath control, the same focus, the same concentration to dive to the bottom of a deep pool is the same to rise to the heights. It's just the only difference is you in the 3D and opposites matter.
Next question. Well, man, this chat moving. You got this chat moving fast, Ron. Can an Orisha choose you without being initiated?
They in your bloodline already. They not only are they in your bloodline, they codons on your DNA. All of the 7 Orisha are codons on the DNA. They just what you call so you imagine like you got T cells that command your white cells what to do in the body. The Orisha on the line that they own command the network of amino acids that make that DNA chain up. And there's 7 major sections to the helix. And each one is governed by a different Orisha. You don't even have to be melanated for them to call you forth.
All right, let's keep this thing moving, y'all. Piece of the planet. Can Tesla coils be used to raise consciousness and activate ancestral energy? Thanks for the super chat donation, TR.
You can do almost anything with a Tesla coil. Matter of fact, when I describe the divine feminine woman in her true nature, I call her a Tesla coil.
Ooh.
Because she's able to manipulate reality with the power of love and thought alone. But it's so many of us, and those are the women that normally have the hardest life, and people try the hardest to control them because they want that access to that frequency, but they don't want her to wake up to the selfish desires of their desire for that access. So they try to subjugate her and force her into performing, and she can't perform by force. She can only perform from a place of love and reciprocity. And this is why men are required to learn how to help a woman balance her emotions with her intellect. In other words, balance her feminine energy with his masculine energy. And then he can read, he can know, okay, she moving like this. That means it's going to rain in 3 days at 4 o'clock.